All right, so just going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and talk about how to solve multiple choice questions in case of an IELTS listening. Pretty simple. There are a couple of tricks that we all should apply to this. We should learn to apply to it. One of the most important ones that I would generally use would be how to go ahead and tackle these answers one after the other. So whenever there is, in case of a question, whenever you get time to listen to the question, my recommendation would always be that you first go ahead and just read the question. All right. Don't go ahead and read the options because there's too much of information that's shared there. If you read the options, what would happen is that you'll end up like, there'll be too much of information in your head already. All right. That's one of the approaches that I would try. Just read the question. And when the question is played, the moment you get your cue for the question, that's when you go to the options really quickly. Okay. So let's go ahead and try that trick now. And after that, we'll try the second trick after that. Okay, so I played the audio.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is to talk to your partner about your presentations on urban planning. You should have done most of the reading now, so I'd like you to share your ideas and talk about the structure of your presentation and what you need to do next.
Okay, so this is your cue. She said cities built next to the sea. So because the question says coastal cities, I don't know if you guys can see it. Coastal cities is the first question is what it says. So now is our cue to go ahead and look at the options really quickly. Okay, so I'm going to play the audio again, and I'm going to now put this a little lower so you guys can see it. Okay.
It made it much easier to find relevant information.
Yeah, and cities are growing so quickly. I mean, we know that more than half the world's population lives in cities now.
Yeah, though that's all cities, not just ones on the coast. But most of the biggest cities are actually built by the sea. I'd not realised that before.
Nor me. And what's more, a lot of them are built at places where rivers come out into the sea.
Okay, so did you guys get the answer? Sonam, did you understand the answer?
Yeah, yes.
I guess so.
Okay, what was the answer? Tell me.
A.
No. What about you, Neha?
B.
Sorry?
B.
B. That the answer is B. Okay, let's listen to it again. Okay, I'm going to now keep the ye on. Let's listen to it again.
And what you need to do next.
OK, Rob, I'm glad we chose quite a specific topic. Cities built next to the sea. It made it much easier to find relevant information.
Yeah, and cities are growing so quickly. I mean, we know that more than half the world's population lives in cities now.
Yeah, though that's all cities, not just ones on the coast. But most of the biggest cities are actually built by the sea.
So most of the biggest cities are actually built by the sea. So include most of the world's largest cities, that is coastal areas.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. Cool.
I'd not realised that.
Now for the next question, because you got the first question, why don't we go ahead and let's try the second trick, okay? I'm just pausing for a minute. Why don't you read the questions in your mind? When you read the answers, try to make underline few of those keywords. So for example, for the first one, may bring pollution to the city. So pollution is a keyword for this. So if they talk about pollution, you should look at this option. Let's say if they talk about agriculture, you should look at the second option, and anything talking about the countryside or something out of the city, we should look at the third option, okay? And then you'll know which one the right one is. So I'm playing this. This is another method that you could actually try. Learn to, so when you are doing your test, you'll obviously have a way to underline your keywords and everything, right? So you can underline these words and then look at it when you're actually listening to the audio. Okay, so listen to this now.
Before.
Nor me. And what's more, a lot of them are built at places where rivers come out into the sea, but apparently this can be a problem.
Why?
Well, as the city expands, agriculture and industry tend to spread further inland along the...
So agriculture, now listen to this point. This is the second point that he's talking about.
Rivers. And so agriculture moves even further inland up the river. That's not necessarily a problem, except it means
So that's not actually a problem, so we can omit that.
more and more pollutants are discharged into the rivers.
So these are brought downstream to the cities.
Right. Did you read that article about Miami?
So bring more pollution to the cities. Did you guys get this answer? Sonam, did you understand this?
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Neha?
Yes, I got it.
Harry?
Yes, sir.
Harry, Kunal, because Harpreet already gave me the answer. Now, for the third one, also try to do this method. Maybe this is working for you guys. Okay, so this method where you remember the keywords for each of the answers. So let's say in the case of 23, okay, read the question, guys, really clearly. So it talks about what mistake was made when building water drainage channels in Miami in the 1950s. So there were not enough of them. We'll probably be talking about the numbers. Not enough, you can probably underline here. Made of unsuitable materials. They will talk about materials that were used and did not allow for the effects of climate change. Now, climate change could mean anything like pollution, could be global warming, could be like, the ice caps melting. You can listen to these words, anything that talks about climate change, because they may or may not say climate change in that case. Okay, so listen to it now.
On the east coast of the USA?
No.
Well, apparently back in the 1950s, they built channels to drain away the water in case of flooding.
Sounds sensible.
Yeah, they spent quite a lot of money on them, but what they didn't take into account was global warming. So they built the drainage channels too close to sea level, and now sea levels are rising, they're more or less useless. If there's a lot of rain, the water can't run away. There's nowhere for it to go. The whole design was faulty.
So what are the...
Did you understand this?
Yes.
It's because of climate change, global warming, sea levels rose, and they did not account for that effects. Okay? Did you understand this now?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to stop my recording. I think this is a good enough suggestion for you guys. 2 suggestions that I gave you all. So let me stop that.